Well, very happy new year to everyone out there, as this is the first video on the channel for 2023, and I want to remind you all that I'm eternally grateful for each and every one of you that choose to watch the videos daily. And with a new year does come some more rumor mill speculation talk with some games that, to be fair, I would not blame some of you if you are tired of the subject, but there is some brand new updates from actually different sources for one of the games that we will be discussing today, which is that long rumored and awaited Metroid Prime 1/Trilogy Remaster, and an update on another classic beloved GameCube game that I am definitely ready to see come back. And we have to go over all the exact comments and break down what, if anything, to expect around brand new GameCube remasters coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2023. What's up, nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, we are revisiting some very heavily rumored 2021 and 2022 games, although I would say the majority of people thought that both or one or the other of these projects would come out last year in 2022. But of course, we are talking about both Metroid Prime 1 Remaster/Trilogy HD, because there were multiple sources claiming originally that Nintendo is planning to, in the marketing build-up for Metroid Prime 4, re-release these three classic Metroid Prime games that, of course, put the Prime name out there to begin with and update all of the players on what to expect from a 3D Metroid experience, and release them in one HD trilogy collection on the Switch. Then later on, all of the names and sources, being Emily Rogers, Nate the Hate, and Jeff Grubb, all aligned and saying that they had heard that instead of it being a Trilogy HD remaster all in one cartridge, that it was likely that Metroid Prime 1 was getting the big boy remaster treatment, and that Prime 2 and 3 may come over in some other way separately or in the future, but they were unsure of those two games being included and or worked on at all. And Jeff Grubb, unfortunately, even put his hair and beard on the line for, if it didn't release in 2022, that he would shave his head. And sure enough, he is a man of his word. He did do that and took the L on the prediction, and he's not backing down from saying that it's a real game and it's finished and that it will be coming, but rather just the fact that he should not have tried to figure out Nintendo's plans and say that for sure 2022 was the year, because my thought process around these Metroid games has always been that they will need marketing ramp up for Metroid Prime 4, and they will of course release in a logical timeline for when we will lead into Metroid Prime's 4 ultimate release. And since we haven't seen anything or any mention of that game in terms of actual gameplay, we don't know what Samus looks like this time around. We literally have no clue what the entire world of Metroid Prime 4 looks like whatsoever. We literally got the logo splash screen back in 2017, then got that unfortunate update that they were scrapping development and restarting entirely, or at least a big restart. We don't know if they scrapped legitimately everything, but essentially Nintendo was not happy with the direction that game was going and made that big decision, which, by the way, is a big financial hit and should tell you how seriously they are taking the release of Metroid Prime 4, that they totally restarted development. And of course, since then, we've gotten no real updates on what's going on with the game. So 2024 is looking like a more likely year for Metroid Prime 4. And if that's the case, you probably don't want to put out Prime 1, 2, or 3, or any of them that is coming too early, because again, these are strategic marketing hype points to get as many players' eyeballs, new players, mind you, because Metroid Prime 1 is now over 20 years old, which is hard to believe, but brand new gamers that never owned a GameCube or never picked up any of these games, even in the Prime Trilogy on the Wii, they're giving them a chance to play them before the mainline one. At least that's what I think makes the most logical sense here. The other game that we had in all of the rumor mill speculation talk when it comes to GameCube remasters is F-Zero GX, and this is one that I really want to see come back personally, because I just have a ton of nostalgia for the franchise. That said, it has never been one of Nintendo's most successful big name franchises that does the big Mario, Zelda, Metroid even sales numbers. Like, F-Zero is even more niche than a Metroid game, but it is such a fun, cool, exciting, fast-paced racing experience that I think it can sell alongside of Mario Kart. I don't think it sells anywhere near as good as Mario Kart does, but I do think that there is a spot for another competitive racer with even more chaotic online. If you could imagine having 30 different racers playing on the same track in F-Zero GX with full online play intact. And the other thing to keep in mind with GameCube remasters and that whole conversation with them coming to the Switch is that that was the last system that Nintendo ever put out that did truly compete on power against the other guys, and it's arguably the most powerful console of that generation, second to maybe only the Xbox. But some of the games, of course, had limitations due to the disc size and how much data could fit on them. But the GameCube is a powerhouse of a system, and both F-Zero GX and Metroid Prime are prime examples, no pun intended, of what that looks like. So you up-res them, you throw them on the Switch, you see if these games have a second chance to sell, and you're also marketing one major release being Prime 4, and then you're testing the waters to see if there is indeed an audience for an F-Zero successor, a brand new mainline entry in the franchise, if F-Zero GX, the remaster, sells decently at all, and you can justify bringing back a dormant franchise to market. Now, to first get on the same page with the updates around these titles and why they're being talked about heavily again online, we have two different sources to look at. And first, we will hop over to My Nintendo News, where they have the details on the reason why Metroid Prime is back in the headlines, where it says, rumor, verified Reddit leaker teases a Metroid Prime announcement. One of the moderators for Reddit's Gaming Leaks and Rumors sub occasionally receives direct messages from one of the sub's users who creatively leaks gaming news just before it is officially announced. The person has previously creatively leaked to the moderator the official name of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD on Switch, Splatoon 3, and WarioWare before they were officially announced in a Nintendo Direct. The Reddit moderator says that the user has an undefeated record when it comes to leaks, that the user DM'd the Reddit moderator today saying, "Do you think that everyone is primed and ready?" Possibly hinting at Metroid Prime news, most likely the Metroid Prime remake, which VentureBeat and GamesBeat journalist Jeff Grubb insisted earlier this year is real. Now, you also have Nate the Hate chiming in on this entire situation and also bringing back F-Zero into the conversation over on Reset Era, where he's responding to the following statement: "I'm still waiting on whatever that Silex Hunter leaker or whatever said about us possibly seeing something related to F-Zero. Nothing happened and they never elaborated on it. It's still all BS until Nintendo shows it." Nate then responded, "F-Zero's time will come in 2023. As for Metroid Prime 1, Retro completed the development of the game in late summer 2021. For clarity, development finished, then still had to go through QA and any localization and such. The game has been finished for some time now. Nintendo just opted to wait to announce and bring it to market for whatever reason." So again, if you were somebody who was very much looking forward to both of these games possibly being revealed and sold in the holiday season 2022 like I was, and you were let down, I don't blame you if you don't want to buy into any of these updates. However, I do think it is logical to assess that anybody who has any kind of inside information when it comes to Nintendo Switch games, we know that the company is truly unpredictable, and we also know that they sit on finished projects far before they're officially revealed, and everything kind of moves around like puzzle pieces when Nintendo sees fit, and they know the broader scope of their roadmap and what they're planning in terms of even new hardware. When do you make that transition? When do you start to support the end of the Switch's life cycle with multiple easy ports and remasters to kind of give you some lead up to develop true Nintendo Switch 2 games or whatever the next gen hardware is? They have the insight and the knowledge to all of that. They know roughly when Metroid Prime 4 will be done and ready to go for development. We do not. So I personally am in the camp that I am hopeful both of these projects are real and will come over to the Nintendo Switch. And I do think that as we talk about things like January and February, when you will expect Nintendo to start to ramp up announcements again, especially being part of something like a Nintendo Direct, that could happen at the tail end of January or in the month of February, like we historically see it happen more often than not. And I think that those are both likely culprits to show up at the event. Do we get both or one or the other? It sounds like F-Zero is just being claimed to be a 2023 game, where it sounds like Metroid Prime, according to this Reddit leaker, should actually be truly announced soon, and it could even be in a standalone announcement, something like a Twitter drop with a surprise trailer. We've seen Nintendo announce new games that way recently, and they don't always tie all of their announcements to a Nintendo Direct. However, if I'm a betting man, I would more likely expect Metroid Prime to be at a Nintendo Direct, where we get that final development update and maybe even a glimpse at gameplay, or at least a full-blown trailer for Metroid Prime 4. And then, thank you for your patience, Metroid fans. While you're waiting, here is Metroid Prime 1 Remaster that you can jump back into on the Nintendo Switch in something like an April, maybe a May, but probably not. I think they clear out May entirely for Tears of the Kingdom, and somewhere around March to April to maybe skip May, maybe even in June, somewhere in the first half of the year, I can absolutely see them dropping Metroid Prime 1 Remaster on the Switch, or if we're lucky, it is the entire trilogy. And then I think that F-Zero GX Remaster, if real at all, comes over just at some time in this calendar year. But again, with all this stuff, until Nintendo officially announces anything, it is not 100% certain. But I really want to hear from you guys on this particular topic. Do you have any faith that either one of these GameCube remasters will be coming over in something like 2023? Or do you think the ship has sailed for these projects and we shouldn't be expecting them to come to the Switch at all whatsoever? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the weekend video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.